We are at the Fader Fort
Hello.
with Nite Jewel. She just played a show. I wanted to talk to you about your new album,
Yes.
which I feel like is kind of a breakout album for you. Not your first album.
No.
Is it technically your fourth album because you had a tape
Dude,
too?
I don't even know. At this point, like, I've released so much stuff, but it's my first album that is on a label in the industry that was released in a normal fashion.
And recorded in like a more like upfront way, do you feel like too?
Yeah, like, I mean, it was recorded in a really weird way, actually, in a lot of different stages, and like, we had a lot of different intentions going into it, but I think ultimately, in the end, we wanted to make it something that was like pretty classic sounding in its production.
Okay, because I know in your past albums, one thing I think you did really well is you approximated this kind of earlier sound, like as if I was like listening to the radio in like a specific
Thank you.
year. And the new album does that too, but it's also much more upfront. Is there? I mean,
Yeah.
was that what you were trying to do, or did you feel like you had to really change your sound to make it much more clear?
It was like kind of part of the process. Like with the earlier albums, I recorded on 8-track, on cassette, and on this album I also recorded on tape, but I recorded on 2-inch tape, 12 tracks each.
Okay.
So it was just like, it was sort of a different process. Then we brought it in and like did some digital stuff to it, recorded with Pro Tools, but like I think for me it's always based on like the way I go about recording that determines the final product, and there wasn't a whole lot of like intention at first.
Okay.
Maybe in the future.
And I also wanted to talk to you about the LA scene you're kind of a part of, because
Yeah.
I think you guys all share everyone, you, Julia Holter, then there's like the Ink guys and all
They're
that. Yeah,
all-
and you all do this thing where you're kind of looking at older music in a way where it's like pretty almost straightforward, but it still sounds a little weirder.
Well, I think we're all pretty like intellectual people, and we all gravitate towards each other because we are like pretty like existentialist in character and like are considering all these things about the world. We're not just sort of like going into it straight out of college like, maybe I'll be a musician and make like a pop album. We're kind of like going about it in a more like diverse and analytical way. So I think that's what we share in common, is just that like thought process.
Okay.
I'm like so proud of us.
It's good, yeah. And I mean, you worked with Dame Funk, which was cool, and like
Dame is a close friend of mine now. I love Dame. Dame, I love you. He knows that. But like, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's LA is like it's like a warm place. Like people are good, nice to each other.
Yeah.
They're not like mean. There's no reason. There's too much space.
that's what.
If you're
Yeah,
mean to someone, you'll never see them again.
that's true. Yeah, you're just gonna be like, you live like really far away. I'm never gonna talk
Yeah.
to you again. I'm not gonna
So-
drive to your house.
I love all these people. They're so talented. I'm just so happy to just be around them and be absorbing their like personalities. I mean, especially the Ink guys. I mean, they're just like incredibly talented, and
Sure.
I'm such a sap. Like, jeez.